Tracy Bean, are we having a baby?
Yeah.
Where is that baby now? Is it in Mummy's tummy?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a boy or a girl?
Boy and girl.
A boy and a girl? Is there two?
Yeah.
There's definitely not two.
Two.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Are you going to be a big sister?
Nah.
Is Mummy slightly terrified about having two? Yes. Hi everyone, so 30 weeks this week. It's been a tough few weeks for me. I've been really tired with the pregnancy. Work's been really full on because I'm still working full time, and my daughter has just hit the terrible twos, so it's been a really interesting few weeks. I'm feeling pretty shattered, to be honest. But there are some good things that have happened. So I finally got my confirmation of my maternity leave from work, and I officially break up on the 17th of December, which is 3 weeks before my due date, so 37 weeks. And I'm getting quite excited about that because I've got so much to do, so much that I want to do, and I've just not had any time to do it. So really looking forward to that. My husband also has got his confirmation of his paternity leave, so he'll get a bit of time when baby arrives to spend with me. And something we've been thinking about is those first few weeks, what we'll do, what our routine will be. So my husband's quite lucky; he's getting 4 weeks paternity leave as part of his contract, which we didn't get with our previous daughter. So that's really nice. And what we've been thinking about is kind of what we learnt from having Grace, and what we maybe want to do to try and make it a bit easier this time. So I think I've already mentioned that I'll be breastfeeding, which means that Christian can't help with the feeding side of things as much as he'd like, and he does really want to be involved with that. And when you're breastfeeding, they say, I think it's the first 4 weeks that you can't introduce a bottle for with baby. So although as soon as I can, I'll be expressing and he'll be feeding that way, for the first bit it'll just be me on my own doing all the feeding. But something we did learn from last time, which I think is really important, is about defining your roles and responsibilities in those first few weeks. So for example, although Christian couldn't do the feeding, he did a lot of the changing, nappies and stuff. He when I was up in the middle of the night, if I needed anything, he was always happy to get up and help with that. We also did a bit of a shift rotation with the baby, so Grace wouldn't sleep till about the early hours, and then she'd go down for a couple of hours. But up till that point, we used to split it into chunks of a couple of hours, so one of us would go and get some rest while the other would sit and cuddle with Grace. She wasn't bad or crying or naughty or anything, she just wouldn't sleep anywhere other than on one of us. And then we'd switch it up. And if she needed feeding, Christian would just come and wake me up, and I'd give her a feed, and we'd either switch or I'd go back to sleep for a bit. So I think something we're thinking about now is how we can build that in this time with having Grace and having another child. But I think my key thing that we're taking forward is how we can work this as a team. We're both the parents, we've both got a responsibility in this, and in those first few weeks where we're both at home, what can we do to make each other's lives a little bit easier, and to give us both the best experience. So as those conversations develop, I'll keep you updated. Hi everyone, so 31 weeks. It's definitely been a tough week this week. I've found it really hard. So my back's not been great. I've been really tired. My husband, bless him, has had to take on a lot of the responsibility with our daughter because chasing her around has just been killing me. Bless her, she is nutters at the minute as well, so it's been a real kind of sometimes like, Mummy, come and play, and I'm like, Mummy can't come and play, but Daddy will come and play. So he's really took on things with that, which I'm eternally grateful for. I also saw the midwife, so she did all the usual checks and balances that they do when you go. They had a good poke around bump as well, and they don't think that they're breech anymore, which is great. There were 2 midwives this week because I had a student midwife, and they both had a good feel, and they both think that baby is not breech anymore, which I'm happy about. I am back for another growth scan at the hospital next week, so hopefully they'll confirm that, and I can chill out a bit about that aspect at least. There's not really been too much development for me, or I've not done too much or thought about anything because it's my daughter's second birthday this week, so we've just been full on preparing for that. But I think next week we'll try and do a few more bits for baby coming because I've got a room full of stuff that I just need to sort out. So I'm hoping next week I'll have a few more updates for you. Thanks. Hi everyone. So for today's video we're going to be interrogating my husband a little bit. How do you feel about having another baby?
I feel really positive about having another baby because, as with the first one, people only love to tell you horror stories and be a little bit down on having a baby and be like, oh, you're never going to sleep again and you're brave for having a second one. But at the end of the day, yes, having a baby is hard, but it's an amazing thing. And I learned after having Grace, our first, that just because you're having a baby doesn't mean your life stops. And effectively, most of the stuff that people say is them trying to be funny rather than what actually happens.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it from the different aspects because obviously of how positive I think it
People
is.
were quite negative, weren't they, the first time? How do you feel about me breastfeeding this one? Because I know with Grace sometimes you were a bit, you wanted to help a bit more and it meant you couldn't help as much as you wanted to.
For me, I saw as well how taxing breastfeeding was on you. Hi.
Hi, baby.
Yeah, I saw how taxing breastfeeding was on for you. And I support you 100% in whichever you choose to do. Obviously, if you weren't breastfeed or if you was expressing or if it's baby formula, I can get up and do more night feeds, which helps us both or helps you, which will share the load. But at the end of the day, if you want to breastfeed, that's completely up to you, and I will support you with whichever you do.
Do you have any advice for dads who whose partner might want to breastfeed, who might... Oh dear, did you spill it? Yeah. Who might be feeling the same way as you, like wondering how they can help? Any tips for that?
Effectively, you just try and make it as easy on your wife as you can do, because at the end of the day, they're going to be the one who are getting up knackered through all hours of the night, especially for the first month, 2 months. So for during that, you just got to make sure that you can make their life as easy. Be prepared with other stuff. If they're making an overflow of milk, make sure you've got the hacker there as well to collect them. Make sure all the stuff's sterile for what they need to do. You might not be actually involved in the breastfeeding, but you can make the rest of the life easier.
Yeah. Thank you, baby daddy.